Good evening and welcome to Year 11 Curriculum Evening. It is a special evening for parents and students, so I'm just going to introduce people on the upper school team. My name's Miss Boyd, Assistant Head Teacher. I'm responsible for middle school, which is Year 9 and 10, upper school, which is Year 11, and senior school, which is Year 12 and 13. I do teach, so I teach mainly A-levels, so I teach Year 11, 12 and 13. I'm going to introduce Deputy Head of Upper School is Mr. Samuel. Head of Learning, I know you know very well. So Head of Learning is Miss Charles Clark, Miss Yardical, and Mr. Aidan. The case there's a fire, we've got 2 fire exit at the back and 2 fire exit at the front. So I'm going to let Miss Charles Clark explain what's going to happen for the evening.
Hello, good evening. Lovely to see so many of you this evening. I think first on the agenda is a massive congratulations to all of our students who completed their citizenship or their RE exam early. So I think they all deserve a round of applause, please. Right, so that's one down. So many more to go, but we are extremely proud of you. So I'm going to start us off before I move on to my colleagues, just with our expectations for this year. And that's with regards to attendance and punctuality, behaviour and achievement, detentions, uniform, the use of mobile phones, well-being, and of course, we have called all of these parents out talking about what you can do at home to support your child. So, attendance and punctuality, nothing has really changed other than this. Our school day starts at 8:40. You're now in Year 11. We expect you to be in your class ready to go at 8:40. Okay, so we are expected to be in your tutor groups by that time. We do expect you to attend school every single day, particularly as it is your GCSE year. Of course, things happen, usual protocols, please. Parents, you send emails to attendance. Thirdly on the list, we are going to be monitoring punctuality to lessons. And I know we say this every single year. However, it's crunch time. We do expect you to be in your lessons on time. And of course, just because you're Year 11s and you're in upper school, you cannot escape detentions. You still will be given one if you are late to your lessons. Now, on to achievements and behaviour. Of course, as we've said, we've celebrated you for getting your GCSE or your citizenship exam. Previous years, it's exactly the same. If you do well in class, we will give you achievement points, and not to mention your lovely glowing reference that we can write for you as you go off to sixth form or a college. So please bear that in mind. Please make sure that you are still trying, you're putting in all of that effort, because of course we want to be able to talk about you fondly. Now, as usual, poor behaviour, you know what that results in. And of course, it is going to be quite pointless for you if you are racking up your behaviour points for the wrong things, because I'm sure you don't want to have us in your ear constantly about silly things like uniform, like mobile phones, when you've got more important things going on this year. So all achievement and behaviour points will be recorded in the same manner. And of course, parents, you can check this on Go for Schools. Over to Mr. Richardson.
Evening, Mr. Richardson, not Mr. Aidan, but thank you, Miss Boyd. Cool, so I'm going to talk to you about a few things. Detentions this year, in the very unlikely event that you or your child gets a detention. It's Year 11, it's go time, so we're expecting detentions to be productive this year. Pupils should be bringing work with them to do it, and it's going to be a quiet study area. If they don't have work, we've got revision guides that we can lend out as well. On that, if your child needs a quiet space to study after school, they are welcome, if they check with one of the heads of learning, to come to the detention room as well. We'll have like a separate section, a separate room next to the room where they can come and do supervised study for an hour after school. We'll be running that on Tuesday, Wednesdays and Thursdays. So if they find home a bit loud or chaotic, or they just want to get on with something before getting home, then fantastic, they can come. Please email us at heads of learning. Uniform, I'm not going to go through exactly what you need for the uniform because you've been at the school for 5 years now, but it's the same as it always is. Just because you guys are the big guys in the school now doesn't mean that you can get away with poor uniform. We will be contacting home, sending people home if we're not happy with the quality of the uniform. PE kit, you can wear PE kit on the days that you have PE. Mobile phones, and more specifically AirPods, actually. Mobile phones have always been a little bit of an issue, but actually kids are quite good at putting them away in their bags. AirPods are becoming more and more of a problem, okay? We will be confiscating anything we see and we'll just be contacting home. So please, can we have your support? If you do receive an email from us saying that your child had AirPods in or had their phone out, could you please support that at home? That would be absolutely fantastic, please. And lastly, from me, well-being. They're going to have a lot of exam weeks this year. They're going to have an exam week in November, an exam week in February, and then obviously their main exams at the end of the year. It's going to be a busy, stressful year. We want to see what we can do to try and help with that. So what we're going to be doing is, as well as our general mentors that we can refer kids to if they have any emotional problems, we're going to be doing these one-off sessions in the run-up to exams. Okay, so on Teams, on the Year 11 team group over the next few weeks, there'll be a self-referral form on there. If anyone feels that they've got stress with exams before, they can put their names down on there. They'll then get picked up in the couple of weeks before the exam week for sort of a one-off sort of crash session on how to deal with exam stress. And we'll be doing that for each of their sets of exams. I think that's it for me. Over to Miss Edexcel.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Okay, so Miss and Sir just spoke about things in school. I want to speak about what can we do, what can you do at home? How can you help your son or your daughter at home? So I think one of the first things that I would encourage all students to do is to start creating a timetable as soon as they get back. Their first main date is going to be the November exams. So students should take this as if it's a practice run. Imagine those are the real exams. How are you going to plan yourself? How are you going to structure your day? How are you going to revise? So I think revision starts the moment they come to school. And in that time table, I think it is really important that they also schedule in physical activity. We want those serotonin, those feeling good hormones. We want them to be able to relax as well, and also to have some social time. Those things could be their rewards. And so it's really important to really start thinking about how they're going to plan their time. Another really important step that students will be in charge of at home is their nutrition and their sleep. Both of these things have a direct link to their mood, have a direct link to their emotions, to their stress levels, to any kind of anxiety, and that can be prevented if they have good sleep, good amount of sleep, and good food, brain food. Okay, so what can you do as parents? There are some things that you have complete control over. So, for example, we have our platforms, Satchel One, where you can check their homework, check what's being set for them, and also our Go for Schools platform, where you can monitor their behaviour and their progress. If you have any problems logging into any of these platforms, I have put the email that you can contact to help log in. So that's attendanceoffice@kingsdale.southwark.sch.uk. So they need to get organised. Miss said, congratulations. Okay, they did so well. They achieved their RE or citizenship GCSE, but once you get to a peak of one mountain, you realise there's another to climb. And this year, this is going to be the biggest mountain that they climb in their journey at Kingsdale. So they need to be organised. They need to have a designated space, a quiet working space at home, which is well equipped. And may I add, not on their bed, okay? Revision timetable should be somewhere centralized. Could be the fridge. The fridge is going to become really important this year. And so I've put up a quote. This year, big school events become big family events. And I think it might be a really good idea to get siblings in on this as well. Have some time, maybe quiet time at home, that siblings can understand the importance of this time, which will also help them further on. So just pulling everyone in. It's a big family and school effort. And also to avoid technological distractions, laptops, mobile phones. Research shows that multitasking leads to poor focus and learning skills, which can be detrimental for their study. So maybe time to lock them away, maybe to have them away for some time. And also, if they have been telling you that they have been revising without evidence, please do not accept that, because just reading some notes really isn't effective revision. Revision needs to be active, and revision needs to be seen. Right, some revision misconceptions. It's too early to start yet. It's never too early. It's too late to start. It's never too late. My friends haven't started revising yet. Don't look to your friends. They're the ones that are probably revising without having told you. Surprisingly, they get all the good grades without revising, okay? Revision is boring. No, good revision should be engaging, and it's active, and it's varied. And what I want to let you know all is, as heads of learning, we are also here to help you and support you every single step of the way. I have a feeling that this is going to be an absolutely fantastic year. We've seen what they've done so far, and so I'm just looking forward to what the year has to bring forward. And now I pass on to Mr. Udin for maths. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss. Hope you can all hear me okay. Every time I have a microphone, I always feel like singing, so please stop me if I do. Okay, so I'm going to keep the information quite concise, because today you're going to get absolutely overloaded with information. So we're going to keep it really brief and to the really important things. So the first things first is the exam board. It's AQA, and the code is 8300. Again, when I see parents taking pictures, I always think they're taking pictures of me. Please get on my good side, which is this one here. And there's 3 papers. There's paper 1, which is non-calculator. There's paper 2, which is a calculator, and paper 3, which is also a calculator. There's 2 tiers, higher and foundation. So if ever you're at home and you're thinking, I need some resources, literally Google AQA 8300 past papers. You will get tons of information for free. Please do not pay for this stuff. It is completely free. All of our students are initially entered for higher. Once we do the mocks in October/November, then we make a decision about who may be better off doing the foundation paper. But for now, every single student is entered for higher. That's what we plan to proceed with. So if you go outside and you want to buy a revision guide, please make sure for now that you do only get the higher one. Okay, if there's no higher ones available, we have ordered loads that will come in within the next 3 to 5 working days. If your child then goes into foundation, of course, we'll swap it over for you and give you a foundation one. Please do not pay for 2. Okay, so let's get into a bit more detail. Let's look at the higher paper. These are the rough grade boundaries. So if ever you want to know how your child is doing, these are the approximate grade boundaries. Higher starts at a grade 4, which is roughly 15 per paper. These papers are out of 80. I prefer to work with exact figures rather than percentages. So every time your child gets a paper home, they're going to get loads. Look at the number. 15 per paper is a 4, a good pass. Grade 5 is 25 per paper. Grade 6 is 35 per paper, and so on. Each grade is roughly 10 higher. So to get a grade 9, which is the highest, you need about 65 per paper. Okay, and this is across all 3 papers. Or again, all papers right. Foundation, the grade boundaries are slightly different. You need roughly 42 per paper. When I say roughly, grade boundaries change year in, year out. If the paper's on the easy side, the grade boundaries are a little bit higher. If the papers are on the more difficult side, they're a little bit lower. But I always think parents want to know roughly what grade the students are at rather than waiting for teachers' reports and parents' reports. For foundation, you need about 42 per paper. For a pass, so grade 4. For a 5, you need about 54 per paper. Again, there's 3 papers, all papers are out of 80. The reason we prefer to start students on the higher is it's actually easier to pass the higher paper. If you look at the grades, you can see they're a lot lower. The main reason we put students onto the foundation is it's a safety net. Annoyingly, if you don't get a grade 4 on higher, they get a grade 0. Okay, and we do not want that. They've put in 5 years of work, we do not want them getting a grade 0. So that's the safety net of the foundation paper. All good so far, pretty clear, 3 papers out of 80. Okay, so let's now go on to the main websites that you can use. There's 3 main ones that we're going to go through today. So Pinpoint Learning is this incredible website for maths, and I'll just go for that in a second. The other one is Sparks. I'm sure you've all heard of Hegarty Maths. Yep, lots of people nodding. Hegarty Maths has now become Sparks. So it's actually the same website, it's just been superseded slightly. It's actually become a lot better. The other one, I'm sure I heard a whoop there, that's quite impressive. The other one is Corbett Maths. Corbett Maths is again a free website. Please do not pay for any of these websites or resources. All this is completely free. Corbett Maths is brilliant because for every single topic, there's a question bank. There's also worked solutions. So rather than relying on a mark scheme, which says whether you got it right or wrong, there's actually someone that's taken the effort to do work solutions for you. So you as parents can actually see exactly where they've gone wrong. Completely free again. So those are the 3 main websites. Let's go through them in turn. The main thing parents ask and students ask is, what do I need to revise? I'm sure you've all heard that. And it's almost like a blockage. Students don't know what to revise, so they don't revise. Pinpoint Learning does all that for them. After they do their first mock exam in October/November, they're going to get a color-coded leaflet like this. And you can probably guess the color codes are green, red, and amber. What do you think green stands for? I'm pretending I can hear you. Green stands for the questions that they're okay on, the topics they're okay on. Amber stands for the questions that they got some marks on. Red stands for the topics that they got no marks on. So there should be no student after the mock exam that has no idea what to revise, because the topics that they need to revise is which color? Perfect. So that's exactly what they need to do to focus on. So the next one. Again, let's go back. So what can I do as a parent? Someone's fiddled with my PowerPoint here, so it's slightly out of sync. Let's go. God, someone's really fiddled with my PowerPoint. Right. Thank you very much, miss. Okay, so again, how do we revise? First things first is Pinpoint Learning. Go to the color-coded green, avoid the green, you need the amber or the red. The next thing is, please repeat that. So every time your child gets a past paper, they need to go to the red topics on Pinpoint Learning, and they need to repeat those. If they get stuck on the particular topic and they're at home, they can then go into Sparks. Sparks at the search bit, well, all you need to do is type in the topic you need, and to find out which topic it is, go to Pinpoint Learning, it will say it. Read the video, watch the video, and Sparks has questions for them to practice. So there should be no reason why any student should ever question what they need to revise and how they need to revise. If they need more practice questions, well, that's when Corbett Maths kicks in. If they ever need more practice, they go to Corbett Maths, and then they need to repeat that process. So let's go through it again. First point of call, Pinpoint Learning. Your amber or your red topics. I'm stuck, what do? Well, I go to Hegarty, I type it into the search box, and it gives me videos. Well, I've watched these videos, I'm pretty bored of it now. What do I now do? I'll go to Corbett Maths, and it's got every single topic. After that, you need to repeat that process. Okay, so what can I do as a parent? Number one, please check their past papers. Okay, so when they get the first one's going to come in about October, November time when they get that. After that, maths is going to absolutely overload with past papers. If ever you want to know how your son or daughter is progressing, look at the grade in front of their paper. Ask them when they get home. Every time they come home, so about December time, ask them, what did you get in your most recent paper? Then the next question to ask them is, how far away are you from the next grade? So let's look at the grade boundaries again. So say if they got 20. They now only need 5 more marks to get a good pass. Tell them, find me those 5 marks. We will also give you, every time we get a paper, we'll also give you the mark scheme at the back of it. So you can exactly say, all they need to do every time they get a paper is practice 2 or 3 more questions. That'll be the next boundary. So that's your main role as a parent. How far are you from the next grade? What else was I going to say? So get them to, again, pick up 5 marks. It's impossible to ask students to pick up 10 marks each time. All they need to do is practice 2 more questions. Any question they got wrong, practice it on Pinpoint and go to Hegarty or Sparks and so on. And have they completed their Pinpoint, red and amber topics? Passwords. But someone's really fiddled with my PowerPoint. Passwords. The passwords for Pinpoint Learning, they'll be helpfully on the front of the booklet. So every time we give you a Pinpoint Learning booklet, it'll have their username, and every student's password is PPL, Papa Lima. You never need to know what the password is, the username will be printed. The password for Sparks, when they get the logins, they set the password themselves. We recommend Kingsdale 123. No one's going to log in and do your homework for you. Okay, so don't worry about GDPR. And that way you as a parent know exactly, oh, I don't know my password. Yes, you do, it's Kingsdale 123. So no excuses at all. And that's pretty much it. So let's go through those bits again. Where do they know? So, Mum, Dad, I don't know what to revise. Where do they look? Pinpoint Learning, brilliant. Which color codes do you reckon they should do first? Absolutely perfect. Next question. Oh, I got them wrong. I don't know what to do. I don't know which topic it is. Mum, Dad, what do I do? Exactly. On your Pinpoint booklet will be the topic. Mum, Dad, I need extra questions. I haven't got anything to do. I need past paper questions. What do I do? And Mum, Dad, how many extra marks? Do I need to get 10 extra marks each time, or what do I do? 5. That's literally 2 questions. And that's it. Rinse and repeat. And they'll do really well. Any questions, please come and speak to myself or Mr. Dotting, the head of maths there. We're happy to answer. Just please make sure when you go outside, you buy the higher revision guides. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
It's me again. I'm sure some of you are probably sick of seeing my face, but I'm here. Going to go through some English with you. So, how exciting. You, or your child, has to sit 2 English GCSEs, English language and English literature. Please, no pictures, I'm shy. Inside of the booklet that I've given you, you've actually got all of the information you need there, I promise, okay? So, first things first, Year 11 students will have 2 English language lessons a week. If they're lucky, they will have their English language and English literature lessons with the same teacher. Or if they're super lucky, they will have a teacher for each. So we have language paper 1. Language paper 1 has their reading 19th century fiction. So they will answer comprehension questions on that extract. Then in part B, they will move on to their imaginative writing. So their creative writing. We then have paper 2. We have our reading of the 20th and 21st century non-fiction. Again, they will answer questions on 2 extracts, 2 non-fiction extracts. Then they will move on to part B, which is their transactional writing. Here we have English literature GCSE. So as I said earlier, 4 lessons will be dedicated to the English literature component. So we have literature paper 1, which consists of our 2 plays that we are studying. We have An Inspector Calls and we have Shakespeare's Macbeth. Then for our literature paper 2, what we cover there is our Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and then our second part, which is the poetry. So we have a collection of anthologies that the students started studying, of course, in year 10. And then they also have their unseen poetry as well. Now, again, information is in the booklet, but it's okay. Okay, so November mocks then. These are the topics here. They will be completing their language paper 1 and their literature paper 1. Okay, so let's get them ready for those. Now, there's plenty of support available. Of course, students have their heads of learning, but more specifically, they have got faculty members that they can go to. We have a range of intervention that will happen over the holidays. in the run-up to the mock exams and, of course, their GCSEs. We also have interventions that can happen after school as well as in lunchtime or even before school. Resource packs are given before the mock exams, so you've got those that they can lean on as well. And as you could see, as you were coming in, they also have some revision guides that they can buy to also supplement their revision. The English department are very, very good. We also produce our own revision guides for students. How can you help? Well, I'm not going to run through it all because I'm sure you are helping already. I mean, look at those GCSEs in citizenship and RE. But here are a few things. Let's just maintain the dialogue, whether it's with heads of learning or your child's teacher. So it's very, very important that if you are receiving any sorts of emails or phone calls concerning behaviour for learning, how they're progressing, etc., please respond, pick up the phone, write an email. It's really, really important that, you know, we are both on the same page. Please encourage to attend revision sessions. Of course, in the holidays, we have compulsory days that we do expect our Year 11 students to attend. Then, of course, we have got other intervention days that are happening as well. Please do encourage your child to come, as well as our Saturday schools that we have going as well. Yes, you might say, how do I know what they're revising? Well, I've given it to you inside of those packs there. Secondly, I've left you a lovely little present. I don't know if you found it, but I've given you some questions that will help their revision for the November mock. So I've given you a practice Macbeth question and an Inspector Calls question. So you can see how they are going to be tested. Revision tools, as I've already said, the English department will provide some. You've got ones that you can buy outside as well as online. I've got some pictures of them on the next slide. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, YouTube, as much as we say no more screen time, YouTube actually has a lot of revision channels that are very, very useful. But one thing I will say is make sure they are specific to the exam board. The English exam board is Edexcel. So it's so important that if you are looking on YouTube for any sorts of lessons, tutorials, you are going for Edexcel. And of course, it matches the topics or the books that you are studying, because there are, of course, other books that are being studied for that exam board. So there you are, there's a little picture. They change, there's quite a few. And that's it from me. I promise I won't come back. So next up, we have science with Miss Gore.
Hi, very good evening to all of you and very warm welcome to you all. I'm Mrs. Gore, Head of Science. I'm here to give you a little bit of an idea of our vision for Year 11 students. Our vision is creating an environment that promotes learning in a settled and a purposeful atmosphere where each and every child enjoy and achieve. This is the most important thing. They enjoy our subject, which is really difficult sometimes, and they achieve as well. We run combined science and triple science. Combined science paper, they will have to do 6 papers, whether they are doing combined or triple. So both students, like those who are doing triple or combined, they will have to do 6 papers. But combined paper will be 1 hour and 15 minutes. Triple paper will be 1 hour and 45 minutes. We will make our decision on entries by December. We are asked to do this. Students below grade 5 will be moved to combined science. The reason for this is we just want to make the right choice for the students. Universities, they look for high grade, whether this grade is coming from combined science or triple science. They do not care. So please encourage your child to do really well. It's a digital word, so I will save all the PowerPoints and everything, all the resources on our Saturday channel where I can easily liaise with all of my students. We have lots of resources, as you can see. We have already downloaded all the past papers on our Saturday school channel. We have
We have revision guides as well. Please have a look. As Mr. Udin said, all of the students, they will be doing higher paper in science as well. We will make our decision by December at end of the December. If there is any question, please see me. I'm around. I can just answer any questions. Any student who would like to move from triple to combined at this point, I will discourage them. I do not want students to move from triple to combined at this point, because we have chosen students for a reason. And some students, of course, they're doing extremely well in combined as well. They will stay there so they can achieve higher grades. If there's any question, please do ask. Thank you so much. We will be running lots of interventions as well. Saturday school, which will be online. Tuesday after school, there will be subject interventions. There will be one-to-one tutoring. That's what we did last year. And I can assure you, students will get really good results. And I'm very pleased to inform you this year our result is great as well. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm here to talk about geography. I only have a few slides, but here we go. So what's really important is that you look for the Edexcel specification, but it's Edexcel B, okay? There is Edexcel A and B for geography. You've got to choose B. This is the one we do at Kingsdale. The revision guides are also specific. There's one for A and one for B. Make sure you choose B. There are 3 papers. So paper 1 is all about the global world. Paper 2 is about the UK. And paper 3 is about people and environmental issues together. All papers are 1 hour, 30 minutes long. So for the November mock exams, you'll be doing a paper 2 full run, a full practice paper, which concerns the physical landscape of the UK, and you will do the fieldwork components. Last year, you went to Eastbourne, and in October, sorry, you will be going to Stratford to do your final bit of fieldwork, which you'll then be tested on in November. So the final geography trip you will be going on is to Stratford, as I said. This is what you'll be tested on in November. You'll be going week beginning 2nd of October, and classes will alternate throughout the week. Please invest in this textbook. It is probably the best revision guide you will find. That's the reason why I've just put one up there, the Edexcel B CGP revision guide. It's so concise. Other sources of revision, Teams. All teachers upload their lessons on Teams. They cover all the content, Seneca Learning, which teachers will set assignments on, and intervention sessions, which will run before and after school. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Hello, Mr. Attar, and I am the head of history. So the important thing to know about the history course is firstly that we are AQA, so we do AQA exam board, and there are 4 topics that the students study. They do Germany. They do the Cold War, so conflict and tension between East and West. These 2 topics have been taught. So they've begun these at the end of year 9, and they were completely taught in year 10. They're all finished. The next unit that they've begun at the end of year 10 is Elizabethan England. They're continuing to study that when they come back. And then they will do their final unit, which is Migration, Empires and the People. So as parents and as students, it's really important to know what topics you are studying. Because if you go and you start looking for resources, when you do history, there's all sorts of different topics. So know the topics that they're studying, please. There's the exam is split into 2 different papers. Paper 1 is Germany and the Cold War. That is what they're going to sit for their November mocks, because they've completely studied both of those. So although they're going to be learning in class about Elizabethan England, the mocks are going to be on what they studied in year 10. And we think that's really helpful for them to be interleaving and going back on things that they've already studied. We will, of course, set aside some time in class to help them with revision, but they need at home to be revising those two topics, Germany and conflict and tension between East and West. The second paper, which they'll then do a mock on in January or February, I think it is, will be on paper 2. So by the time the real exams come around, they've had a really good practice of both of the papers. So there again, those are the topics for November mock. So if you're at home and your child's not unsure what to do, revising Germany and revising Cold War, please. There are various resources out there for you. Confusingly, because there's so many topics, there's loads. I would go for the Hodder, ones are pretty good. There are ones for each of the units. There is also one that covers 3 of the units as well. We've put this in our handout. And if that's not available for you today to take, we'll make sure that we give it to the children next week and they can take it home with information about the best revision guides to buy. In terms of websites, Bite Size is really good. Make sure that they're going onto the AQA specific pages, please. And just like geography, we really recommend Seneca Learning. And we will ask all our teachers to set up classes where they can set assignments for your children. The good thing about Seneca, it's got lots of small videos which they can watch, and then quizzes which they can do as well. You can do it on a pad, on a laptop. You can even do it on your phone. And we would really, really recommend students doing 10 to 15 minutes every single day on Seneca, and just that little drip will really, really make a difference. If you want to get in touch with me, my name again is Mr. Attar, and my code for the email is GAR. Please feel free to email me with any questions or queries you have. Thanks a lot.
Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Watson and I'm the Head of Languages here at Kingsdale. I'm going to take you through sort of a run through because I know you're all doing different. So we offer French, German and Spanish, as you know, as our modern languages, and Latin as well. Latin's slightly different in the way it's assessed, so hopefully it's nice and clear on here for you. If your child is doing one of the modern languages, that's French, German or Spanish, then what they'll have is at the end of this year 4 exams which they cover the main language learning skills. So you have listening, reading, writing and speaking, each of which are worth 25%. The listening, reading and writing are conducted in the exam hall, and the speaking is conducted with the class teacher. The exam board that we use for the modern languages is Edexcel, and just referring to the community languages, if your child speaks Arabic or Chinese or Japanese or any of those languages where there is a GCSE available in that language, hopefully I know who you are already, but if I don't, then do send me an email because I can give you guidance as well on how to enter to do those exams, just so you have an extra qualification. We use the exam board Edexcel for all of those extra languages as well, apart from Polish, where we use AQA, just so you know. In terms of Latin, it's assessed slightly differently. There's 3 exams. There's a language paper, a literature paper, and a civilization paper. The exam board for this is Educas. So for the mock exam in November, God, it would be now that my voice just goes. It's been a long day. We will do 1 in-class listening exam and we'll do a writing exam in the hall. So we have receptive skills and then active skills. So the receptive skills are the reading and the listening, and the active skills are where the students are using the language themselves. That's the writing and the speaking. So in this first round of mocks, we're going to test 1 of each of those types of skills. So we're doing a receptive skill with the listening and then an active skill with the writing. The writing paper, hopefully they'll be quite familiar with, because it was the same that was the same type of paper that they will have done at the end of year 10 in their end of year 10 exams. So all that revision that they did then, they just need to go and find those notes that hopefully they haven't burnt or something, and they will have all the things that they need there. For Latin, they'll be doing a Latin language and a civilization paper in this mock exam week. Speaking mock exams. Now, we won't be doing these straight away, but in December, well, actually twice this year, there'll be 2 mock speaking exams. These will happen in December and also in February/March time. These are key and crucial events for students as essentially to turn up to. They get their 15 minutes with their individual teacher where they practice the speaking exam. This is well, we do this at Kingsdale. It's quite uncommon for schools to give them this many mock speaking exams. They should also have had one at the end of year 10 as well. So by the time they're getting to the real speaking exam, it should be the 4th time that they've done it. And the great thing about it is it's very formulaic. And I think, with speaking, it's good for building confidence. The dates and times for this, obviously, because they're on an individual basis, will always be communicated via Teams through the class teachers, and we will email you about it. And this is just a plea from me, is just to make sure that if you have changed your email address, that you have let the school know that, just so that my emails to you about your child's mock speaking exam don't end up somewhere random. Now, in terms of pupils attending these, obviously, a great deal of time and effort goes into organising these things for them and to give them the opportunity. It's really important that they turn up for them so that they have the best opportunity. And it's a very rare occasion where they get to sit with their teacher individually and have that little chat at the end of the speaking mock as well, for them to be given some pointers and some tips and things as well. Okay. So what support is available? We offer 2 types of intervention sessions. We have what's called a Target 6 intervention and a Target 9. So our students that are slightly less confident will attend or be invited to a Target 6 intervention. And then those who, absolutely love everything about verb conjugations, vocabulary, irregular verbs, all of that. There's Target 9 sessions for them as well, obviously aiming for the top grade. And you can contact us on languages@Kingsdale, blah, blah, if you have any more questions. Some of you, I know some familiar faces in here, have attended my Succeeding in GCSE Languages event before. This will be run again this year. It is pretty similar to what we've done before, with some slightly fresh ideas this year. It should hopefully be a nice refresher course. If you have done it, it'd be great to see loads of you come along to that. That event will be happening at the end of September. We'll send out some information by the end of this week about that. But we know that, probably of all the subjects that your child is studying, if you don't speak the language yourself, it's probably the one that you most struggle to help them with in terms of revision. So the whole idea of the event that we're going to put on is to give you some tips in order to help your child progress with the languages at home. And also we have some of our sixth form students who just did their language GCSE this summer and obviously did very well. This carrying on at A level. They come along and they'll also give you some of their own tips. Sometimes it's more useful to hear it from them than from me. And then revision guides, we have them available for the modern languages, and resources on Teams as well. We post all of our lessons on Teams, vocab lists, verb conjugations, anything you want, it's all there. So just making sure that you've got access to that as well. And I think that's it from me. Thank you.
Just going to be really brief before I let you go. It's really important for the sixth formers, the year 11s, regarding sixth form. Year 11s are going to sit mock in November. Some of them are going to apply to sixth form here, some of them are going to apply to sixth form elsewhere. Their mock exam and also their classwork and homework that they do throughout this term is going to be used for their predicted grades. So when they apply in year 11 for sixth form, if they're not at Kingsdale School, they apply for somewhere elsewhere. The college will send a full reference back to the school. They will tend to ask what grades are the students going to get. That would be completed. Staff can only do it based on their mock exams, not only the mock exams, it's the classwork and homework that's been done through this academic term. So it's important that they try and do reasonably well. If there's any circumstances that we are not aware, so maybe the heads of year 11 might know, if throughout year 10 there have been mental health issues, etc., that is really important that that's emailed to myself and Ms. Klinger. This reason behind that, when they do sit GCSE exam, if there is circumstances, if there's circumstances, they will look at the GCSE grade and it makes a big difference. So if you feel that your child's been affected by anything, any medical, you need to email Ms. Klinger or myself. If you feel that your son and daughter needs to have extra time in exams, you have to also make them to get assessed before. They can't go officially on an actual GCSE day and say, well, I need extra time. That's got to be done before the exam. So that's really important. It's also important that they apply for more than one sixth form. So not just only here, they need to apply for quite a number of sixth form for this academic year. If the students are going to come to Kingsdale here, they have to get 6 sixes to actually do A-levels. If they want to do A-level maths, chemistry, biology, physics, they have to get a 7 in those subjects unless there's circumstances. If they want to do further maths, they have to get 8, but all the others is 6 sixes to do A-level. We are running 3 BTEC at the meantime, so BTEC in sports, BTEC in science, and BTEC in performing arts. The grade for BTEC is slightly lower. So it really is an important year for them this academic year because they do have to apply for sixth form. Some sixth form close very early. So it's not the question of, wait, if you made a deadline for other sixth form, they won't open that again. So some sixth form close by December. So please, if you are making your application form, please make sure you do early and please make sure you do try and work hard because teachers will have to make predicted grade based on your mock and also your classwork and homework. So thank you for coming to the evening. The bookshop is still open. The heads of learning and some subjects teacher will be here if you need to speak to them. So thank you very much.